I realised that if I jumped on a train, headed to the airport, flew over to Ireland, and squeezed in a quick pit stop for a Guinness, I could then have lunch at Chapter 1 by Michelin Viljanen. Walking downstairs, once I ring on, I'm swiftly ushered inside and shown through to my table. And with the plentiful windows and abundance of natural light, you'd never know you were underground. It feels like an escape from the bustle of the Dublin streets outside. Ricardo comes over to walk me through their menus. There's a prefix option or their lunchtime tasting menu. When making my booking, I requested their longer format tasting menu, normally served only at dinner. The menu? 6 courses priced at €235. For drinks, they offer pairings, vast selections by the glass and bottle, alongside an incredible selection of Irish whiskies, particularly their Middleton Vertical. I settle in with their popcorn old fashioned, and before long, the opening bites arrive.
Warm broth of roasted celeriac. You have a celeriac wafer and preserved lemon.
Crisp, delicate, and citrusy, and the broth, intense, deep, and with a perfect sweetness to it.
Next canapé to go is the borsch. Borsch is a chilled beetroot soup. Pick up the spoon, put on bite only. Continue on with a little sable of chestnut and rye, and at the top there is winged cod roe, finger limes and caviar.
Delightfully creamy, full of umami, and with a finger lime cutting through the brininess just perfectly.
Finish off with the beignet of Comté cheese and truffle.
Big, bold, and punchy flavours. Absolutely no messing around here with the opening bites. Next came their bread service. A basket filled with a rye and cardamom baguette, a laminated Guinness and treacle brioche, and finally a classic sourdough. This was accompanied by their whipped fromage blanc with pickled shallots and a salted butter.
This is your first course. We had served the foie gras royal, served with the green apple jelly, green apple sorbet, smoked tea, and candied wolf.
The foie is creamy, decadent, rich. The freshness and the brightness and the acidity from the jelly, the ice cream, the crunchy textures. Other than the plate sliding all over the place, I absolutely enjoyed that. That's now brioche, by the way. Fantastic. This is their Parisian style baguette, which is also excellent. So far, all the bread products, very well made. Next was their langoustine, glazed in a Mary Rose sauce, alongside confit potatoes topped with preserved pear, served with caviar, and all finished tableside with their aerated soubise sauce made using onions, pickled chives, and shallots. The cooking on that langoustine, absolutely perfect. Fresh, snappy, and absolutely spot on. From the creamy tangy Mary Rose to the richness and sweetness coming through from the onion sauce, followed by an extra layer of sweetness from the puree. And then the caviar comes along and brings that much needed salinity to cut through it all.
We have served the steamed John Dory, served with the market carrots, yuzu, and the timut pepper condiments, and on the side you will find aromatic shellfish rice, served with some orange and saffron.
Wow. Oh my god, loads of citrus, loads of sweetness and tanginess running through there. This is an interesting one because the fish on its own, fantastic. It's soft, sweet, flaky, absolutely delightful. And then I'm finding everything else on the plate to be extremely sweet or really citrusy. And when I eat everything all together, I'm finding the fish only exists as the texture, the flavours coming from everything else around it. And the seafood rice, it's really, really well made. And from the cooking of the rice to the cooking of the proteins, with all the balance of the flavours and textures, it's salty, it's creamy, it's very creamy. It just feels like there's two completely different dishes and they have absolutely nothing to do with each other. It's kind of like candied or preserved yuzu with this long pepper, finding to be very, very overly sweet and citrusy and completely overpowering the protein. First opened in 1992, Chapter 1 has long been a cornerstone of Dublin's dining scene. But its modern era really began when Chef Mickael Viljanen, who previously headed the greenhouse, took over in 2021. Almost immediately, the restaurant went from 1 Michelin star to 2. Viljanen's cooking is all about precision, luxury ingredients, and deeply refined technique, blending Nordic influence with the very best of Irish produce. And that same philosophy runs throughout the restaurant itself. Their 6 distinct dining spaces feel elegant and understated, designed to be calm, intimate, and entirely focused on the experience unfolding around you. And now, back to the food.
With your main course, we are served the roast pigeon from the Jules with Fronis, served with celeriac, beetroot, pistachio root, the finishing with this green pepper conion pigeon sauce. And side, you will find the Comté pigeon leg, to enjoy with that. My suggestion, if I can, is to enjoy the legs after the roast.
100% Guinness from the village of Mercury from the main civil.
The cooking on this pigeon is sublime. The little discs of the truffle on top give it a slight texture and a bit of nuttiness. Not overwhelming at all on the truffle flavour, and I'm grateful for that. And the lovely warming hint of pepperiness and spice coming from the green peppercorns. I personally would have preferred that without the beetroot. Once again, just too much sweetness there. But without the beetroot, absolutely perfect. You can see there is a little bit here where they've kind of left like the sinew, silver skin. And then there's this leg. Salty, oily, intense, really meaty flavour. Glad I got to finish off the dish on that leg. Perfection.
This is our cheese trolley, which is a mixture of Irish and international cheeses. On your plate, so in the center of it, a bit of fig chutney. For your garnish, we're serving some quince, a bit of pear, which was poached in whey. First, our Comte is 32 month aged. After that, we have our Irish sheep cheese, followed with Valencey, which is a goat cheese from the Loire Valley. Ludover, as mentioned, a nice medium strength, aged 30 days. Finish off with Langre, which is a soft cow cheese washed in champagne. On the side, a bit of our homemade sourdough baguette and traditional Armenian bread, lavash, glazed with honey and seeds.
Yeah, there's a reason I don't normally go for cheese trolleys. It's just the Comte in this is okay. I like my soft sheep's cheese, but the funky ones are they're not for me. Seeded cracker's fantastic too. Safe to say, I still know my cheese preferences, but I'm always willing to try new stuff.
So with buttermilk meringue, blood orange sorbet, and then here we have little caramel with citrus.
It's sweet, it's bitter, it's slightly acidic. The buttermilk with the orange works perfectly. The only interesting thing in them for me was that semi-marshmallow, semi-set egg white texture. They called it poached meringues.
Only to discover the Tokai made by Dereshla Estate, 5 putomios.
This is your dessert. We have served coffee and chocolate delice, served with stout garnish, yuzu and coffee jelly, and on top a white ice cream made with salted milk and lemongrass.
Beautiful. The balance between the coffee, the chocolate, the citrus, the sweetness, the tartness, the sourness. Perfect combination. Absolutely love that. And that was the perfect serving size too. Any more than that, it would have been just too rich and decadent and overly sweet for me. And the lingering citrus and sweetness from the candied orange coming through pairs so beautifully with the Tokai too.
Now I'm going to make a very special Irish cocktail. I hope you enjoy it. We've been doing this tableside for over 34 years. The reason we do this is the Jemison family used to live upstairs. In this case, it's the castmate stout edition. We use a copper pan. In here we have a syrup, which is a simple syrup. It's tobacco, mace, brown sugar, orange and coffee. Into the glass. The cream I'm going to use is double cream, so freshly grated nutmeg on top.
It's coffee time.
So this one is coming with the yuzu marmalade.
And for the final bite of today's menu is this gin and raspberry bonbon. All in, excluding service, the total for lunch today came to €360. I've just finished up at Chapter 1 by Michelin Viljanen. The space, despite being in the middle of a busy Dublin square, as you step downstairs, the basement almost feels like its own little oasis. The dining rooms blend exposed brickwork with sash windows, thick linen, and a mix of artwork that gives the space personality without ever feeling showy. Tables are large and generously spaced. That said, sound did carry a little more than expected between tables and other dining areas. The service? It was polished, precise, and unfailingly courteous. Crumbs were cleared religiously in between every single course. Pacing was exact and they did not miss a beat. And now, onto the food. While a few of the sweeter elements among various courses didn't necessarily align to my palate, the cooking itself was impeccable, and the pastry team, absolutely incredible too. From the breads to the desserts, perfection. I very rarely find a dessert to be my favourite course of the menu, but the balance here of the coffee, the chocolate, the sweetness, the tanginess, the citrus, that little addition of the stout there as well, just tied everything together beautifully. Overall, a really, really positive experience. And as usual, thank you for watching. On to the next one. Goodbye.